Welcome to the Powerlifting and Power Ballads podcast, where we bring you a weekly dose of powerlifting news, tips, and training advice with a touch of 80s rock ballads. This podcast is presented by Team Roar Powerlifting, your source of the most comprehensive coaching and meet day preparation. Here are your hosts, Josh Rohr and Laura Sturm.
Welcome to the Powerlifting and Power Ballads podcast. I am one of your hosts, Laura Sturm.
And I'm Josh Rohr. Welcome.
And here we are on episode 58. Crazy, 58. So a few updates. We have a lifting thing. Wow, a powerlifting meet this weekend where one of our coaches is lifting, the USA Powerlifting Lifting the House. This weekend is at Our House Studios in Ringgold, Georgia, where James Vang is lifting.
Yeah, come check it out. It should be a lot of fun.
That should be pretty impressive. Another update is that we've made these lists with these one-hit wonders, only to find out they're not actually made out of one-hit wonders. So the criteria being that if the same band had another song that made the top 40, they're not exactly a one-hit wonder. So out of our list, we made a cruising list and a lifting list, and 5 out of 7 cruising songs are one-hit wonders. So we did better there. But only 2 out of 7 of the lifting songs are actually one-hit wonders.
And those are all submitted by our listeners. So that's a little
and
preview
ourselves.
about what in ourselves. It was a bloodbath. going through and auditing these. It was a bloodbath.
Oh, pandemonium. That's terrible. So only 3 out of 12 of the lists submitted are made up out of all one-hit wonders, like for real. 3 out of 12.
Yeah, that's not good. Those are not good statistics.
Wow. 9 lists contain at least one multiple hit artist.
Yeah, not great. So that brings us to my question. So before we go through the lists and see who created invalid submissions, what do we do with this? So we're doing the voting, like we're doing the tournament. Do we just strike the songs that are illegal songs straight from the list and, have a list submitted and just have it like number 2 song, nothing there? Or do we put little asterisks beside it and just note that it's not an actual one-hit wonder? What do you think?
I don't know. I kind of went back and forth on this. I was like, all right, if it's not a one-hit wonder, it should just be struck and the person should be shaken and slapped. And then their list doesn't have that many songs. But then part of me is just like, it's just not that serious. Let's just put an asterisk next to it and move on because this is really for fun. And I think I'm kind of more leaning that way, like put an asterisk next to it saying, yeah, these aren't really one-hit wonders, and move on.
All right. So I actually am strongly in favor of the opposite. I think we strike it completely from the list because hear me out. Yes, purist. Hear me out though, because most people voting on Instagram are just going through real quick and the songs that they quickly identify, they're like, oh yeah, that's a great song. I'm voting for it. And are they really going to look at the asterisks and then on top of that, read what the asterisk actually means? Probably not. So I feel like that would basically be like, let's put this into powerlifting terms here. This would be like, so-and-so failed their drug test. They're competing at the meet. Or they competed at the meet, failed the drug test. So on the results, we're going to leave them there as first place. They won the meet. We'll just put a little asterisk beside it and say that they actually didn't win the meet. They got second, or they were disqualified, but they're still on the results. Or do we just take them completely off the list, make it very clear that they cheated in this situation and don't give them any credit? To me, they remove them, get them out of here. The songs are illegal songs. They should never have been on the list. So why? I mean, otherwise I could have put on look up like the best, the most popular songs of all time, add them to my one-hit wonder list, put an asterisk beside them all. But when people go through, they're like, oh yeah, I love that song. Vote. Well,
no one did this on purpose though. Like,
how do you know?
I know that. Well, I know you didn't, and I know one other people who put the list did. Although I think a couple of them were, like, I knew they weren't one hit wonders when I saw them. Like, this is wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe we should have struck it right then at that moment and
Well, so
not let the lifter get on the platform.
So you're right. We should have. But here's the thing. So let's just say I was the TC, right? I saw them come out with this one hit wonder that I'm pretty sure wasn't a one hit wonder, but I wasn't sure. I didn't want to invalidate them or not give them the opportunity unless I was sure. Kind of like a referee. You don't give a red light unless you're sure it's an infraction. Some of the songs that I saw too, I thought were not one hit wonders, but I'll be honest, I didn't actually go through and verify any of these songs until today. So I had speculation that a lot of them weren't, but I didn't have any actual data and proof that they weren't. So now that we do, I feel like, you know, it's like somebody at a meet that, you know, going back to the drug test thing, if they win the meet, they get up on the podium, hold the medal and everything, but it's not until after the fact that they fail their drug test and get disqualified, which that's why I hate people that cheat so bad, because that robbed another lifter of the opportunity to be on the podium or be at the top of the podium.
So if we were to strike the songs that are not actually one hit wonders, and these are top 5 lists, what do you do with the songs that aren't actually? Do you just...
You have 3 blank, you know, if somebody has 3 non one hit wonders, you have 3 blanks on your list.
Invalid entry.
Yeah, I think so.
Wrong.
You know, it's kind of like, you know, and I need to, you know, this is another little speculation, but I'm pretty sure like in team competition, like if you have somebody on your team fail a drug test, I'm not as sure on this as I should be, but I'm pretty sure like that point score gets taken away. You don't get to replace it with somebody else. It just gets taken away. So I don't know.
So do only 3 of the lists actually get to compete then?
No, I think, whoa, that's a good question. I think I think being lifter friendly, my proposal to you is that we let them all compete, but all of the illegal items, maybe the songs we think of as like illegal apparel or illegal items. All right. You know, you had unapproved wrist wraps, right? You can't wear them, but you can still compete. Maybe that's the comparison we make. So I think we just, my opinion is we take the songs off. You know, if we have, I'm not going to say if we do or we don't, but if we have a list of all 5 songs that all of them are disqualified, then they compete with a blank list.
Blank list. What if they win?
Well, then our voters are just being obnoxious.
Let's just face it. It was a popularity contest because if Chris Elmore won against me, it was a popularity.
It could be
12-year-olds.
But I think I think that this is round 2 of doing a tournament style voting. So I think people are aware that we're doing it and aware that it's coming. So maybe they'll, you know, we'll have people that actually, I take this very seriously. I take everything seriously. So, you know, yeah, some can say it's fun, whatever. This is serious.
This is not fun. This is cutthroat.
Exactly. So I don't know. We'll see.
And Chris Elmore, if you didn't know until this moment, I did submit. All right. So here's where I come full circle, because I don't think Chris knows this. And Chris, I hope you're listening. We were having a campfire discussion around these lists, and it was the last moment of entry. And I was feeling like you had a lot of 12-year-old friends of your children who were voting for your list. So I created some.
This was during the top 80s albums tournament.
The top 80s albums voting. So I maybe have created a couple of Instagram profiles for myself. You know, I guess you call them Finsta, fake Instagrams. And, you know, if you saw someone friend you, Chris, that said Chris Elmore's music sucks, or Elmore's on reality, that was actually me. And I tried to vote for myself, but it didn't work anyway. I actually had friends that voted for Chris, that like would call me out and say, no, I can't vote for you because his songs are better.
True confessions.
So those 2 people are dead to me. Yeah, true confession.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not as much of a purist as you, obviously.
So what are we gonna do? So we obviously are split on this.
Yeah.
I guess we gotta decide because we're gonna start voting on Friday. So how are we gonna do this?
Well, I'm kind of swayed by your argument of like people don't have time to actually read the asterisks when they're voting because you barely have time to review the whole list. Truthfully, when it's a story, it kind of flips pretty quick. And then you have to like scroll back, look at it again, and then it will disappear again on you. So I think you're right. I think we need to make the songs that are not actually one-hit wonders.
So I will say, just based
strike
on
them from the
based on what you just said, just a little info for our listeners. Like if you, when you're going through Instagram stories, if you touch and hold, it'll stop it from scrolling. So you can, I know this is breaking news here.
Wait, how you use Instagram?
So if you need more time to read, just click and hold and it'll
Good to
stop
know.
and you can continue reading.
Well, then your argument is invalid.
Well, so I think it is. I mean, are people, my argument was, are people going to actually read it even if they have all the time in the world? I would say no.
People have attention span of gnats for the most part, me included.
Which I think is why Instagram sets it up that way. So it just keeps people moving and kind of matches it keeps people engaged, because if they're just stuck on one page, just like, oh, I'm just going to close it. But if it's automatically flipping to the next story every couple seconds, like people are like, oh, what's this? Oh, what's this?
Oh, that's definitely attention.
That's by that's
just for people with
that's by design. That's not a fluke.
I don't know, Josh. This is your podcast. I'm going to let you decide.
It's our podcast, but okay, thanks. I'll decide. We're striking them.
Strike.
They're gone.
Stricken.
They're stricken from the list.
Stricken from the list. So, all right. So, are we going to go through the songs later?
Yeah, we're gonna go through everybody's list.
What they are.
Oh yeah, I'm calling everybody out. We're going through them. So.
Ooh. I didn't scroll down to see if I had any of those bad songs.
Yeah.
So.
I haven't told anybody, but we'll go through it person by person.
Oh, I'm anxious. All right, but first we're going to talk about powerlifting things.
Let's do it.
So here we go. Powerlifting situation. Here we are. A nationally ranked lifter is a member at your gym. The lifter comes in to train at 5 p.m. every day. Often, upon arrival, there's someone already using the gym's one set of calibrated plates. The lifter frequently asks the others to change to pound plates so that the lifter can use the calibrated plates. Oh, hey, dude, you're using the calibrated plates and I'm the nationally ranked lifter, so I get to use them. Is this acceptable? I think you already know from my tone.
So I'll play devil's advocate here, I guess, a little bit then, based on your tone. I don't think it's unacceptable. I think if it's a polite ask occasionally, like if they have a real heavy training day or getting close to a meet, I don't think it's a big deal to ask. I mean, people can always say no. However, if the lifter just walks in and is like, hey dude, I need those plates, then I say fuck off and no. But if it's every single workout that they're asking for the calibrated plates, then also that's unacceptable. There's no reason for that. I mean, calibrated plates in training, I don't think is that big of a deal. But I do get it though. Like if you're getting ready for a meet and you are having a top set, that's getting pretty close to your max, you want to be on as close to competition stuff as you can most times. So, I don't think it's unacceptable to ask politely, but I do think if you're being a jerk or you're literally just making it known that at 5 o'clock, I get those plates to everybody in the gym, then that's a little bit overstepping.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I mean, based on how this was worded, to be the purist, it says often upon arrival, this person does this. And I would say that's kind of acting like a douche. And I would say, yes, it does matter where you are in your training cycle. If this is your like last heavy squat day before meet and you want to use calibrated plates, I'd probably be okay with that if you ask nicely and aren't being a jerk about it. Because, if you have 3 plates on one side that are off by, I've seen plates that are off by 5 pounds.
Yeah.
5 pounds, over several plates can mean a big difference.
Yeah. And I'll say too, if you have your heavy workout and you're coming in and, the person you ask says no, that's the end of it. you don't start berating them or saying, hey, I'm so and so, I'm doing this. Like you move on and do your training session, or you wait till they're done. Like you don't insist or like demand that they give them up. I mean, on the flip side, buy your own damn plates. If it's that important to you, you're a member at the gym, so is everybody else. If you need the calibrated plates, buy your own damn plates.
Right. And I think the a nationally ranked lifter part really shouldn't have anything. Nobody should be, treated extra special just because they're nationally ranked or even internationally ranked.
Yeah. Everybody at the gym is a member, and they all should be, have equal opportunity to the equipment. So
yeah, absolutely. All right. We are in agreement there.
Cool. That's good.
That never happens. All right. Moving on to our new lifter tip. Some things that are needed at a meet, but are often the most forgotten things when there are things that are forgotten. These would include a photo ID, membership card, singlets, knee-high socks. Boy, that's a big one. What else? What are the things that you see, Joshua?
Yeah, there's a lot. I think those are the main ones, but I think having your opening attempts in kilos. I'm going through the comments of what people put on our Instagram. Food and water, patience and coffee is one of them. Here's a good one: a current membership card. So we just put membership card, but yeah, you do have to be current. That's a good one. Somebody put Sour Patch Kids.
That's necessary. If you forget your Sour Patch Kids, that's it. Head home.
Underwear. That's one people, so I don't think people forget underwear per se, but they forget underwear that they're allowed to lift in. Maybe people forget underwear in general. I don't know.
It's awkward, especially when you're in equipment.
Yeah. T-shirt for under your singlet. I think that's one some people don't think about. Yeah. And food, I think we already mentioned, but it is a big one. So yeah, I just think those are things.
Or even a singlet.
Or singlet. Yeah. Well, that was on our list. That was one of our 4 that we mentioned right off the bat.
I read that, didn't I? Sorry.
You did. Yeah, I think those are all, I think the ones we listed are very commonly forgotten, but I think a lot of the ones that were in the comments are also things that people forget, but they may not be, like Sour Patch Kids. Like if that's your go-to thing and you forget, yeah, that's a big deal, but I've never eaten a Sour Patch Kid in my life. I don't even know what it is. So if I forget that, I don't care. Has my life been empty?
You've never eaten a Sour Patch Kid in your life?
Has my life been empty?
Okay. You have. I mean, that's like Matt Buttimer saying to me one time he had never eaten at Cracker Barrel.
Well, that's
so guess what we did? We stopped at Cracker Barrel.
Stop everything. Training's over for the day. We're going.
I know. Now I'm ordering you some Sour Patch Kids on Amazon right now.
Got it. Because
you haven't lived.
Got it.
Makes
All
me
right.
wonder.
Let's get into the nitty gritty. Let's go through and throw public shame on people that put invalid songs. So up first, Laura Sturm, you scored a 5 out of 5. All of your songs are indeed one-hit wonders. Congratulations. You are one of the 3 people that made it through without.
I do have to say I did proof my list. I did go to the top 40. I went to the Billboard top 40 list and Googled that song, made sure that there wasn't other songs by that artist. So
yeah,
I would have been surprised.
Clearly, a lot of us others didn't. Which brings us to me. I got a 4 out of 5. So my number 2 song, Animotion's Obsession, they are actually a 3-hit wonder. They had number 6 was Obsession. They had Room to Move peak at number 9 and Let Him Go peak at number 39. So based on our criteria of top 40, I have up there. Fail.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah. A couple of my other songs I had on there, like Red Rider, Lunatic, Fringe, they were number 11. But then in the US mainstream, but they actually never even made it on the top 100 Billboard at all with Lunatic, Fringe. So technically that's not even a hit by our definition, but I think we said we're not going to disqualify for it not being a hit, but having more than one disqualifies it. So dodged a bullet there. And then Midnight Oil had that.
Yeah, I can't imagine how Lunatic, Fringe.
Yeah, I don't know how it wasn't on the Billboard, but it wasn't even ranked on there. And in Midnight Oil, Beds Are Burning, that counts. They had a number 17 was Beds Are Burning, but they had a number 47 hit and a number 53. So I just kind of snuck in under the wire there. So if we're going by top 40, then we're all good.
All right.
Chris Elmore, he also got a 5 out of 5. I was really wanting to poke some holes in his list.
Damn it, me too.
I know, but all of his songs, Turning Japanese, Der Commissar, Tainted Love, Relax, and Lunatic Fringe are all one-hit wonders by the definition of not being more than one song on top 40. Interesting in doing some research though, a couple interesting things like Soft Cell Tainted Love. It was number 8, but it held the Guinness Book of World Records. It held the world record for most weeks on the Billboard Top 100 at 43 weeks, which is crazy. It's a long time to be on the
That's kind of a weird
top 100
song to be in the top
Right.
100.
Yeah, I thought so too. Another interesting fact on his number 4 song, Frankie Goes to Hollywood, Relax. In 1998, there was an imposter band that called themselves Frankie Goes to Hollywood. And they actually started touring with the Flock of Seagulls under the name Frankie Goes to Hollywood until it was kind of brought to their attention that they were not the real Frankie
And
Goes
it
to
wasn't
Hollywood.
really Frankie Goes to Hollywood.
Yeah. You think, how would you not know that? I guess they're one of those bands that they're not quite that popular, but
Someone didn't check their facts.
but they were singing their songs and everything. So like people just didn't know. It's crazy to me, but yeah. So
That's
a flock,
funny.
so a Flock of Seagulls kicked them off the tour.
Oh, that's an interesting story.
It is pretty
I
weird.
need to look at that.
Yeah. Gary Jacobs, he gets a 4 out of 5 because his number 3 song, The Outfield Your Love, actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They had 5 top 40 songs. They had number 6, Your Love, number 19, All the Love in the World, number 21, For You, number 25, Voices of Babylon, and number 31, Since You've Been Gone. They also had a number 43.
Yeah, I kind of thought that when he said The Outfield Your Love, because I'm like, The Outfield isn't a one-hit wonder band.
Yeah.
I like The Outfield.
Yeah, I do too. Just a side note, remember that Key Largo song that I thought was terrible that I've been loving ever since? So that Key Largo was number 8. So it was a one-hit wonder. I'm not disqualifying the song. I'm just putting in some other fun facts. On the US Contemporary chart, whatever that is, Key Largo was number 1. They also had a number 10, Just Another Day in Paradise, and a number 34, When You Fall in Love. But that's not the overall Billboard chart. That's just the subcategory of adult contemporary.
Adult contemporary, not to be confused with like teenager contemporary or like child contemporary.
Right. So Gary's 4 out of 5. So he's going to have The Outfield Your Love stricken from the record. Moving on to Chris Peterson. Ooh, this is tough. He only successfully submitted 3 out of 5 songs as one-hit wonders. His disqualifications were his number 2, Men Without Hats and Safety Dance. They also had a number 20, Pop Goes the World. I never heard of it. Don't know anything, but that's what the internets say. The other song that he is getting disqualified is the Weather Girls, It's Raining Men. Funny enough, It's Raining Men only peaked at number 46, which doesn't even qualify it as a hit by our definition. But they had 2 other songs that did. Number 19, Dance, and number 36, You Make Me Feel Mighty Real. So
that's all the Weather Girls. Who knew?
So his song that is on his list was not a hit, but they had 2 other songs that were hits. So down to 3 songs, Chris. Sorry, man.
Boy.
Wade Johnson also is a 4 out of 5. He is getting disqualified on Steel Breeze, You Don't Want Me Anymore. It was at number 16, but they also had a number 30, Dreaming Is Easy. Don't know that song either.
Yeah, don't either.
But the internets don't lie.
The internets do lie.
Yeah, you're right. Cindy Yeager, 4 out of 5. She is, this is a fun fact. Her number 1 song, Dexy's Midnight Runners with Come On Eileen. It was number 1 in the US. They had another hit song, well, top 100 song, number 86, the Celtic Soul Brothers. But again, we're only counting top 40. But an interesting side note, tying it back into powerlifting, in the UK, Dexy's Midnight Runners had a song that went number 1, and it was called Gino. Gino. So shout out to Gino. I just thought that was a fun fact.
And that one hit number 1. So,
in the UK. So
number 1.
Here's interesting. There's going through these lists. There's a lot of these songs that were like number 1, or like multiple songs that were top 10 in the UK in the dance category. And I'm going to have to go, like, some of the songs that aren't listed, but some of the artists had songs that were like in the top 10 UK overall, and then in the top like 25 US dance subcategory. So I like dance music, and I like 80s dance music. So I'm going to have to go through and look at some of these because it's intriguing. Anyway, getting back to Cindy Yeager, she does have a 4 out of 5, not because of Come On Eileen, but because of her number 5 song, Dead or Alive, You Spin Me Around Like a Record. That song was number 11, but they also had a number 15 song called Brand New Lover. So that by definition is a 2-hit wonder.
I do know that song.
I don't. So I'm gonna have to check it out. And speaking of dance charts, they had multiple, Dead or Alive had multiple UK top 30 songs. And on the US dance chart, telephone is ringing. On the US dance chart, they had a number 1 hit, Come Home With Me Baby, but it was not ever on the top 40 of the Billboard charts, but it was number 1 dance hit in the US. So that's one of those songs. I don't know what it is, but I'm definitely going to check it out.
Right. You have to.
Yeah. Moving on to Ben Green. This is where the bloodbath starts. Ben got a 2 out of 5. He had 3 songs disqualified. Martica, Toy Soldiers. It was number 1, but they also had a number 18 hit, More Than You Know, and a number 25 hit, I Feel the Earth Move. Cutting Crew, Died in Your Arms. It was number 1 on the Billboard list, and they also had a number 9 song, I've Been in Love Before. So by definition, Benji, I'm sorry, but that's your second song. We had it listed as number 3. That's your second song that's getting disqualified. And your third song, Alana Miles, Black Velvet, which was number 1. They also had a number 36 song called Love Is. So that is 3 out of 5 songs. Sorry, Benji. Eric Cordero, who actually first started me thinking about auditing all these lists by calling me out on Animotion. He actually got a 5 out of 5. So all of his songs were top 40 hits. So congratulations. You're one of the 3. Jim Battenfield, he got a 4 out of 5. His number 5 song, John Waite, Missing You, is actually the song getting disqualified. John Waite's song had number 1, Missing You, number 25, Every Step of the Way, and number 37, Tears. So he actually had 3 hits. Stacey Metcalf, you also get a 3 out of 5. Your number 4 and 5 songs are getting disqualified. So Thomas Dolby, She Blinded Me with Science, was number 6. But Thomas Dolby also had number 17, One of Our Submarines, number 37, Europa and the Pirate Twins, and number 39, Hyperactive. So that was actually a 4-hit wonder. And then your number 5 song, Aha, Take On Me, was number 1. But Aha also had a number 20 song, The Sun Always Shines on Me. And in Norway, they had 6 hits, which is crazy, Norway. So that was a cool list. Amy Pancake, another one of our flunkies on this list. And I gotta say, well, let's start with what she did here. So she got a 2 out of 5. 3 of her songs are getting disqualified. But one of my favorite songs that I thought was a 1-hit wonder is her number 1 song, The Tubes, She's a Beauty. I was convinced that should have been on my list, and I probably should have added it, but it turns out it's not a 1-hit wonder. She's a Beauty was number 10, but they also had a number 35, Don't Want to Wait Anymore. So that is officially not a one-hit wonder. Amy also had Animotion, which is one of my songs, so that one gets disqualified. And then Wang Chung, Dance Hall Days, was number 16. But in addition to Dance Hall Days, they also had number 2, Everybody Have Fun Tonight, number 9, Let's Go, number 36, Hypnotize Me, and 38, Don't Let Me Go. So that's a 5-hit wonder. So Wang Chung is definitely off the list. Her other 2 songs, The Sugar Hill Gang, Rapper's Delight, they had a number 53 song, but that doesn't count because it wasn't top 40 or better. And in Modern English, her song I Melt With You, it only came in at number 78, was the highest that they ever had. So that is technically not even a one-hit wonder, but they don't have more than one hit, so it's good to go. So in summation, we have a lot of disqualifications. Anything that you see on the list that you knew ahead of time was not a one-hit wonder, but
the John Waite song I knew wasn't a one-hit wonder, because I think of John Waite actually as a different song. But the funny thing is, the song I was thinking of him isn't even on that list. It didn't make top 40.
And that's an interesting thing looking at those lists. Like some of the there's a few songs like some of these artists had that was like number 1 in like the modern rock list in the US, but not even on the Billboard Top 100.
Crazy.
Which is weird. So, I don't know. It was just weird. But anyway, any surprises from this list?
There's lots of surprises.
So I'm surprised by the 2, She's a Beauty. I honestly did not realize they had another top 40 hit. But I will say this, like, I am redeemed in the fact that I didn't put it on my list, even though I felt like I should have, and I felt guilty for not putting it on there. I can just say like, oh, I knew it wasn't a one-hit wonder, but I didn't really know. Crazy. So in conclusion, when we did our draft of those songs, we only had 5 out of 7 of our driving songs make it through, and 2 out of 7 of our lifting songs playlist. So I think we're not going to even publish those because they're not real lists.
Should we do some homework and replace our choices had we known that? Or because I think
we can.
Here's my recommendation: if you need a driving or cruising list, just go to mine. just use my top 5.
Yeah, well, that's true. But these are great lists. Right. Like, these are still great driving and cruising lists. Obviously, they just don't qualify as one-hit wonder driving list. So, I don't know. They're still good lists. But anyway, we're going to start the tournament on Friday. So definitely check. We'll probably start posting it Friday morning. So check Instagram at Team Roar and at PL Ballads Podcast so that you can vote. Everybody can vote twice each round. We'll do that every Friday until we have a clear winner of who has the best list. And I think what we'll do, so we are going to strike all those names from the list, but in the tournament, you can rank people ahead of time. Last time I did it completely random. I think just by definition, we have to rank these. If you got all 5 actual one-hit wonders, you have to be the top 3 because we only have 3 people that did that. And if you are the 2 people that had only 2 out of 5, you got to be the number 11 and number 12 ranked going into the tournament. I just think that's only fair. Maybe it's not, but that's what I think. But people can still vote. Like, if you have one song that's just like so good that everybody thinks it's the best list, even if it's only one song, you can still win. But I just don't see it.
Boy.
And I'm in that boat. I had one song on there. I am dropping myself out of the rankings. I'm being impartial, even though I'm one of the hosts.
It's going to come down to me and Chris Elmore again, but this time Chris Elmore is going down.
Yeah, it might. You never know. I mean, I'm looking at some of the lists still. Like, there's still some pretty good lists, even if you take a couple of those songs out. So,
well, I guess
I'm just going to say, I think my list, even without Animotion, is still pretty solid.
The real question is, what are we going to do for our next 80s power ballad music list?
I don't know. We got 4 weeks of this voting stuff to kind of kick the can down the road and
There you go.
figure it out. But you get anybody that has any ideas of what they want us to do next, you can shoot us an email at plballadspodcast@gmail.com or DM us on Instagram, plballadspodcast. Closing thoughts,
That's a
Laura.
Great way to wrap up the podcast, Joshua. Yeah. I'm sorry that we aren't always purists.
Yeah, it's all right.
Not
So
sorry. We're having
somebody,
fun.
I'll hold down the fort on that end. So,
Sorry.
all right. Well, on that note, we're going to call it. We'll see you guys next week. Awkward goodbye.
Awkward goodbye is correct. Bye now.
Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed today's episode of the Powerlifting and Power Ballads podcast, please remember to subscribe and share it with your friends.